What is tough love? In general, tough love is described as an affectionate concern expressed in a stern or unsentimental manner. And if you're selling print-on-demand products, I have some tough love for you today. You only talk about POD growing, but you never mention how competition is growing exponentially as well. Print-on-demand is a business like any other, and there is simply no room for everybody to succeed. You always make it sound like everybody jumping into Shopify and building their own store can actually make it work. That is a comment I got on a recent video of mine. And today, this video is for you if you agree to these three things. One, that print on demand is a real business, and that's how it should be treated. Two, you are aware that any sales you make are going to be a direct result of the work that you are putting into your store to actually create a great business. And three, that any long-term success that you enjoy with this business is going to be due to the ongoing work that you are doing on a daily basis with your store. If you agree to those three things, make sure to continue on in the video. If you don't agree, make sure to click off and go find another video now. If you're new here, make sure to check out some of the other stuff here on the channel. I do a bunch of product reviews. I also have a free course showing you all of the steps to actually open your POD store. There's a link down in the description. The best part is it is completely free. So the comment here that I just read to you basically made three key points. The first is they said that I only talk about print on demand growing and that I never mention how the competition is growing as well. The second thing is that they said there is not room for everybody to succeed with a print on demand store. And the third thing is that they said that I was making it seem like everybody who tries will be successful with a print on demand store. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about why 99% of the people out there that are failing have this mentality and why it is dangerous. And for their first point, I talk about print on demand growing all the time because it is. According to this article, which is one that I've shown here on the channel before, that print on demand was going to have a 26% projected annual growth rate over the next 8 years or so. If you scroll down in this article here, they're predicting that by the year 2030, revenue for print on demand market in general globally is going to reach about $40 billion. To contrast that, in 2022, we were at about $6 billion. So it is growing, and that is why I talk about it. He also said in the first point that I don't talk about competition growing. And honestly, if you've watched any of my videos, you see that I get roasted all the time for talking about why you should avoid places like Etsy or selling t-shirts and mugs. Because honestly, that is where all of the competition is. If you look up videos on YouTube about print on demand, 90% of them will tell you to start an Etsy shop and then choose random niches and put designs all over t-shirts and mugs. And ultimately, that's something I talk about not doing all of the time. The second point he made is a dangerous one. This is something I see a lot of people say, or an attitude that I see a lot of people had. He said that there is not enough room for everybody to actually succeed with their POD store. And sometimes I feel like people that say this have a mindset that print on demand and creating a Shopify store or something else is a game. Something that you have to figure out in order to win. Or that it's like a puzzle, and if you put the right pieces together in the right combination, then you are also going to win. Or that it is some sort of a machine that if you just put it together in the right way and then you turn it on, it will give you money. This sort of a mentality makes it seem like there's only a certain amount of people out there that actually are going to figure out how to put the puzzle together and win the game. Or that only a certain amount of people are going to be allowed to. Or that methods that used to work to actually put the machine together last year no longer work this year, and a new secret method is needed to put the machine together in order to get the results that you want. What I'm trying to say is the people that say things like the comment that I showed don't understand that print on demand is a real business. I make content for you to learn about how you can actually conduct yourselves to create yourself a good business. What we're not doing here is giving you the 3 tips, the 3 secret steps to take to put together your print on demand store so that way when you turn it on, it gives you money. That's not what this is. The truth is that print on demand is just like any other business. Think about it like this. Let's say that I wanted to open a restaurant and I was going on YouTube and listening to people talking about their experience opening restaurants and what worked for them and what didn't work for them. Ultimately, there might be 3 main things that I would focus on when I am opening my restaurant. The first would be the location of it. The second would be the actual building, what it looks like, what the outside looks like, how the inside looks. And lastly, I'd want to make sure that my menu is great, that I'm offering good food that people in the area actually want to order. And just like with a print-on-demand store, there are tons and tons of different things that could impact impact my success with those 3 different variables. And no one would ever bring the mentality that certain people bring to print on demand to opening a restaurant. Meaning no one would look at a restaurant as some sort of a get-rich-quick thing or something that worked last year and doesn't work this year. They would view opening their restaurant the same way that most businesses are looked at. Meaning if you create yourself a good restaurant, you will sell food. Here's another analogy. Let's say that you were going to open a restaurant, and leading up to opening day, you walked all around town hanging up flyers and promoting the opening of your restaurant, telling people to come in on Friday to order because you are opening. And let's say you hung up 1,000 flyers all around town. And on Friday, the day one when you opened your restaurant, you had a whole bunch of people come into the restaurant, they looked around, they checked out the menu, but ultimately each and every one of them left without ordering. You would be absolutely crazy to jump onto a Facebook group or to go onto a YouTube video about opening restaurants and tell people that anyone looking to open a restaurant should avoid hanging up flyers because that is a dead method. That worked years ago for the gurus on YouTube, but nowadays anybody looking to open a restaurant should avoid that. That type of thing is dead. Ultimately, you would understand that there's something wrong with the restaurant you created. Maybe your food was too expensive. Maybe the place looked dirty. Maybe you looked dirty. Maybe the food smelled, or just maybe there was something that caused people not to want to buy, and it had nothing to do with you hanging up flyers. It had everything to do with you not opening a good restaurant. His third point was that I always make it seem like anybody starting a print-on-demand store will be successful. And in a sense, I kind of do that, but I do it with the caveat that if you are starting a print-on-demand store and you listen to me, that is how you will be successful. And that is not coming from a place where I'm thinking that I know everything, but ultimately he's right. What I am saying is, hey, here's what I would recommend you to do in order to be successful. I think that's sort of a natural thing for someone like me to do. I'm ultimately trying to create a channel where I provide value and information and tips and tricks and strategies and my experience and things that you should do with your store if you ultimately want to do well. The fact is, if you are starting a print-on-demand store, you have just as much chance of being successful as someone else, but you still have to actually put in good effort. You have to build yourself a good store. That would be like going onto a fitness YouTuber's channel and telling them that you are making it seem like everybody who is getting into fitness is going to lose weight or be able to improve their lives or to be more healthy. And the person making that content would likely say to you, well, yeah, of course I am, because I have been able to get in shape and I have been able to transform my life through doing these things, and I have seen other people who have been able to do the same thing. And if you watch this video and you listen to what I'm talking about when I talk about things to eat and what not to eat and types of workouts to do, and you also do them, you'll likely see some positive impacts in your life. And the same thing is true here with me on my channel. If you are looking to start a print-on-demand store, I talk about making sure that your store looks good. I review tons of print-on-demand stores all the time. I make videos all the time where I tell you that you need a niche, because if you don't have a niche with your print-on-demand store, no one's going to be interested in your items. I talk about the need to make sure that you have good designs, and if you're not a graphic designer, then you should be hiring someone to make your designs for you. And then I provide information about how to actually go about doing that. So yes, I do make content where I'm trying to inspire people to get started, and I do make it seem like you can be successful with print on demand, because you can if you create a great store. And this is the tough love portion of the video today, right? What I'm trying to do is promote your welfare. What I'm trying to do is to promote responsible behavior in you. I'm trying to tell you that if you're going into print on demand thinking that you're just gonna throw anything together with your store, meaning you're gonna just basically make a store based on things that you think you want, there's a good chance that you're ultimately not going to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And also, if you're looking at this as some sort of machine, if you can just figure out how to put it together and then when you turn it on, it will instantly just rain down money and sales on you, that is just not a good way to go into this. And again, I'm not trying to make it seem like I think I know everything, but what I do try to do here on my channel is talk about what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me. I also talk about what I've seen work for students of mine. So far, people that I've coached have made about $5 million in sales on their own stores. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to tell you that not only have I seen what I've done with my stores and I've seen success and I know what has worked for me, but I've also seen what works for lots of other people. My experience and what I talk about here on the channel is, again, not intended to make it seem like I think I know everything. There is a great chance that there is a lot not that I don't know. But what I do talk about is stuff that I have seen, but stuff that I've seen work for me. It's the stuff that I've seen not work for me, and also for others as well. And my point here is the amount of times I see people make a post in my print on demand Facebook group. There's a link in the description. There's about 70,000 people there. You should check it out if you're looking to join a community. I've seen so many posts where people talk about running their store. They've watched all the videos. They're not making any sales, and then they post a link to their store, and when I look at it, they're doing everything that I say not to do, right? So if you have a mentality, again, that you're gonna just do whatever you want with your store, and just because you create it, you're going to make sales, then you're probably going to fail with this business. My advice to you would be to slow down and to make sure that the restaurant you're building is actually in a good location, that the building looks good, that it looks like a good restaurant. And third, that your menu is actually good. Don't just think because you made an awesome omelet one day that you should just open up an omelet restaurant. Like, ultimately, you're gonna have to put some time into thinking about your restaurant and create something that is epic. And, honestly, at this point, I feel like I am rambling a little bit. I got that comment that I showed you the other day on a video, and I basically just wanted to make a rant style video here on the channel, and I'm not sure how it will be received, if you'll receive this well, or if you'll think that I am losing it a little bit in terms of making a video this long about that one comment. But let me know down in the comments, did anything I say today make sense? Did anything I say today help you? Or is there anything that I've said today that maybe has changed the way that you are going to go about your business? Like I said, let me know. I'm not sure at this point what the point of this video was, but I guess what I'm trying to do is help you to avoid a certain mindset with your store to ultimately cause you not to fail. So that's what I got for you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.